Myself, Ankita Tiwari from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology from ITICT department. I am going to take a session from the subject, that is computer vision. Subject code is 3171614. The module that we are going to cover is module number 2, image processing. Now, in that we are going to cover today the topic as Fourier transformations. So Fourier transformations, basically we can say, we mentioned that Fourier analysis could be used to analyze the frequency characteristics. Now, what does this mean? Frequency stands for, so analog signals in the form of waveforms. So that types of frequencies is being analyzed by the Fourier analysis. So basically the waveform structure in terms of frequency, in terms of its characteristics, by using various filters can be used as a Fourier analysis. Okay, in this section means of Fourier transformations, we can say we will explaining both how Fourier analysis lets us determine these characteristics, that is equivalently the frequency content of an image, and how using the fast Fourier transform, that is FFT, it's a short name, let us perform large kernel convolutions in time that is independent of the kernel size which is already there in the system. So with respect to that, we are going to learn how a Fourier transformation takes place with respect to different characteristics in terms of frequencies. So basically, how can we analyze what a given filter does? That means to high, medium or low frequencies. The answer to this question is simply a sinusoid, that is of known frequency, through a filter will be passed, and to deserve by how much it is attenuated. So basically the answer for this will be, we are passing a sinusoid of a known frequency which can be a high, which can be a medium or which can be a low, through the filter, and we'll observe how much it is being measured. So with respect to that, we are having a formula like let s of x, that is sine cosine, we know that. So s of x is equal to sine function of 2 pi fx plus phi I, and which is equal to sine of wx plus phi I. So this is the predefined formula of Fourier transformation that we are using it, and be the input solenoid whose frequency is f. So angular frequency, which is defined as w, which is equals to 2 pi f. Okay, and the phase is phi I. Okay, so with respect to that, note that we will be doing in this section, we will be using the variable. Make a note of it whenever we are defining a question, that is variable x and y. It will denote the spatial coordinates of an image rather than, that is I and j, as in the previous sections. Okay, so I and j here, this is both, like because the letters I and j are used for the imaginary numbers, we know the real numbers and the imaginary numbers. For that, the usage basically depends on whether you are reading, that is complex variables or electrical engineering literature, and so because of that only it is clearer that how we will be distinguishing the horizontal x and the vertical y components in frequency space. So with respect to that, in this section we will be using the letter j for the imaginary number, and since that is the form more commonly found in the signal processing literature, it is used here. So we will be knowing that I and j letter that we are going to use in the whole session for this lecture or for the after lectures for the Fourier transformation. It will be the imaginary number that we are using it for the complex numbers, that is I plus j form. Okay, so I is and j both are imaginary that we are going to use it. Okay, now with respect to that, if we convolve the sinusoidal signal, that is s of x, with a filter whose impulse response is h of x, we get another sinusoid of the same frequency but different magnitude a and phase phi 0. So O, that is O of x, is equal to h of x plus star s of x, means we are multiplying it both the functions, and which is will be giving me as the formula as a, that is constant, sine wx plus phi of 0. Okay, so phi o, sorry, not 0, it's o. So whenever we are defining with different magnitudes, that is a and phi of o, so that is defined with the function only. So as shown in the figure, we will be seeing in the next slide. To see that this is the case, remember that a convolution that can be expressed as a weighted summation of shifted input signals. Okay, and that of the summation of a bunch of shifted sinusoids of the same frequency. Sinusoids we are talking because of sine function that we are using it. Of the same frequency. It is just a single sinusoid at that frequency. So from the figure we can see that here, as you can see, we are having the signal form in the form of frequency, which is going for the S as an S sinusoid equation. We are taking it, that is why we are using S, which is being transformed with respect to the matrix that you can see here in the diagram only. From there you can see A, which is a proportion which we are taking with a voltage, that is the amount of frequency which goes means the value which is taken, that is A. As you can see, it's a constant value, because with respect to that only it will flow for the whole of the waveform. So that is a, it's constant value, and phi, that is the angle which is being taken with respect to that A value, and x is the, y is the two of the horizontal and vertical complexes. So here the function which is s of x will be given with respect to the function which is applied h of x, and you will get O of x. Okay, so with respect to that, the new magnitude A is called the gain or magnitude of the filter, while the phase difference, that is delta of phi, is equals to phi of 0 minus phi of I, which is called as the shift or phase. So here more particular and most important definition comes here, the new magnitude A. Okay, magnitude is fixed here because we are taking it into consideration, which is called gain or magnitude of the filter, while the phase difference, that is delta of phi, is equal to phi of 0 minus phi of I, which is also called shift or phase. So the Fourier transform as the response of a filter, that is h of x, to an input sinusoid, that is s of x, is equal to, we are getting exponent for it, that is e raised to jwxe, that is yielding an output sinusoid. So with respect to that, we are getting equation, that is O of x is equal to h of x star s of x, that we are knowing it with the formula only, which is equal to A, that is constant, that is new magnitude A, which is taken as a gain or magnitude of the filter, into E, that is J exponent, that is jwxe plus phi, because phi is what, it's a phase difference, will be added with respect to that equation, that is magnitude. Okay, so this is what the formula is that we need to keep in mind whenever we are doing this Fourier transformation. So in fact a more compact notation is used, that is the complex valued sinusoid. Okay, so s of x is equal to E j raised to jwxe, that is exponent, which is equals to, now we will bifurcate with respect to theta, that is cos and sine. So cos wx plus j sine wx. Now here I plus j form. So here wx, that is cos wx plus j sine wx, which is with respect to imaginary part. So in that case we can simply write as O of x, which is equals to h of x into s of x. We already know the formula, which is equal to A e raised to jwxe plus phi. We have already seen right now with the frequency. Now the Fourier transform is simply a tabulation of the magnitude and the phase response at each frequency. So h of w, which is equals to f of h of x, which is equals to A e raised to j phi. Now let suppose that is it is the response to a complex sinusoid of the frequency w passed through the filter h of x. So the Fourier transform pair is also often written as, that is h of x with the Fourier, that is in middle, okay, which is written as Fourier f. With respect to both of the implications are same, that is h of w. So with respect to that, fortunately, closed from the equations for the Fourier transform exist both in the continuous domain, so we will get the general formula for it, that is h of w, which is equals to f, that is from minus infinity to infinity, with respect to the equation, that is h of x e raised to minus jw dx, that is derivation of x. And in the discrete domain, for the both of the values, so h of k, which k is the constant for the discrete, is equals to 1 by n with respect to sigma, that is x equal to 0 to n minus 1. H of x, same formula, e raised to minus j 2x, that is kn, and divided by n. Okay, so where n is the length of the signal or region of the analysis, okay, that we are formula that we are using it. These formulas apply both to filters such as h of x and to signals or images such as s of x or g of x. So the discrete form of the Fourier transform is known as the discrete Fourier transform, that is DFT. Okay. Now with respect to that, we are having some properties related to Fourier transformations. Okay, so these are the properties that we have. They are shown you in the table as well. Superposition, shift, reversal, convolution, correlation, multiplication, differentiation, domain scaling, real images, Kurzweil's theorem. So signal that we are using for the superposition, which is defined by the signal and transform. How we are going to represent superposition with signal and with transform. In signal it is f1 of x plus f2 of x, because two signals we are superposing it, means adding it, which will be defined in the form of transform, that is f1 of w plus f2 of w. Now shift f of x minus x0 and f of w, that is e raised to minus jw x of 0. Now the convolution, that is f of x star h of x, which is defined in the form of transform f of w h of w. Now we are having correlation with respect to the property of cross product. So f of x cross product of h of x, which is defined with the f of w and h of w, that is mean star. Multiplication, f of x dot h of x, which is defined with respect to in multiplication f of w star f of w. Differentiation means f dash jw fw. Domain scaling, f of alpha x with respect to 1 by alpha f of w by a. Real images, f of x is equals to f star of x. Real images, the same applies with the imaginary part. Parseval's theorem, sigma x means summation of f of x whole square. It's a formula, fix sigma w f of w whole square. So these are the different Fourier transform properties that we have, and we will be going to see what it is, the properties, and some what it does. So basically starting with the first property, superposition. The Fourier transform of a sum of signals is the sum of their Fourier transform. Thus Fourier transform is a linear operator. So we have already seen plus. Then shift. Okay, the Fourier transform of a shifted signal is the transform of an original signal multiplied by a linear phase shift, that is complex. Imaginary part that we are adding it. Reversal. The Fourier transform of a reverse signal is the complex conjugate of the signal's transform. After that, we have convolution. The Fourier transform of a pair of convolved signals is the product of their transforms. We have already seen all the signals. Then correlations. The Fourier transform of a correlation is the product of the first transform times the complex conjugate of the second. Times means with respect to its or its multiplication or the combinations. Multiplication, the Fourier transform of the product of two signals is the convolution of their transforms. Okay. With respect to that, we have differentiation. The Fourier transform of the derivation of a signal is that signal transforms being multiplied by the frequency. Or in other words that we can say is differentiation linearly emphasizes, magnifies higher frequencies. With respect to that, we have domain scaling as well. The Fourier transform of a stretched signal, okay, is the equivalently compressed and we can say scaled version of the original transform and vice versa. So basically we have these properties. Also we have more properties, that is real images. The Fourier transform of a real valued signal is symmetric around the origin. This fact can be used to save space and to double the speed of image, that is FFTs, by packing alternating scan lines into the real and imaginary parts of the signal being transformed. And Parseval's theorem, the last property of Fourier transform, the energy, that is sum of squared values of a signal is the same as the energy of its Fourier transform. So basically we have learned many of the properties of Fourier transform, where we have learned addition of the two signals, in same direction, linear form. Then we have seen multiplications, then superpositions, then we have seen real images, then we have seen differentiation. So these are the different properties that we have for a Fourier transformation with respect to the frequency observation to be maintained in order to get the clarity of the image. And with respect to Fourier transform, we are having these of the properties. So we have learned all these properties with respect to all the equations of Fourier transformations that we are using it for a frequency. So basically we can say that Fourier transformation is used for the frequency purpose and for the frequency things. And we need to keep in mind frequency is being with respect to the signal that we are getting it for a particular image, and it has been solved with the Fourier transformation series that we already learned. So these are the things that we have done today. Fourier transformation, the next part of the Fourier transformation that we will be doing in the next session. Thank you.